are going deeper. Jalicia Lewis joins us now. She is with the Jacksonville Community Action Committee. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. So just to recap the story for those who don't know what happened to Charles Faggart, if you could give us a little background.
Yeah, so about a year ago on this day, Charles Faggart was arrested on misdemeanor charges. And while he was in custody, there was an incident that happened involving 9 other police officers. And he was declared brain dead. Pretty much the next day, he was in the hospital, chained to this handcuffed to the bed, and was brain dead on the 10th. And so we're here because of, you heard in that report, JSO released saying that, there was a seizure reported. They also claimed that there was fentanyl, that he said that he did fentanyl, but the medical records released show that there was no signs of a seizure, that he had no fentanyl in his system, and that the officers failed to report a barb that was stuck in his back from a taser that they didn't report in the police report filing.
So, and I think that's part of what we're missing, what happened leading up to his arrest.
Correct, yeah. And I think in that report that they put out, it was heavily redacted, and so right now the family can only guess. And so currently I think they just put in another sue JSO to get some access to those public records, because that's the thing. We have so many questions. There's no video footage. Again, there's conflicting reports from what JSO has put out. Currently, if you ask TK Waters about it, you will defer to the investigation currently being held by the FBI and the state attorney's office. But I personally believe that there is not an incident where I can imagine one inmate who was restrained needing 9 officers, and for that to lead to his death. There's no rhyme or reason for that.
So did police originally go to him to arrest him because of an allegation of some sort of domestic abuse, which was then later taken back?
Yeah, so his girlfriend, I believe the mother of his child, they had a dispute. Again, it was a misdemeanor. She did call officers, but once he was arrested, that's something that she kind of took back, and it was settled. I think it was essentially just a situation that needed to be de-escalated, which is why this is also just so unfortunate, because they seek law enforcement for help, and what happened is now her loved one is gone. Her son doesn't have a father. His mother has to mourn her son, and so while he was arrested, rights don't just disappear because you go to jail. Jail is not a death sentence. He deserved justice, his fair share, and it was taken from him.
And he was a business owner in the community, and by all accounts, there have been many people that have come to his defense. It is not somebody who had a long history of a lot of violent criminal activity.
Correct. Yeah, he had his catering business. If you also look at his history, he was very big on, I think, overcoming any past struggles, and so it was really a success story. You can see it through his mother, his brother. They all talk very highly about the type of man that he was and the type of father that he, tried to be as far as being contributing member of society.
So tell us a little bit about your background and why you are involved with Jacksonville Community Action Committee.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a 5th generation Jacksonville native on both sides, and so this is my home. And I've known people who have gone to the jail. I've had family members who are law enforcement themselves, and for me, knowing both sides very intimately, I feel very strongly that, again, we are in the greatest country in the world, the greatest democracy. There's no reason why we can't have fair due process and do things in a civil manner. And so I really got involved. I'm also a freelance writer, and so this was one of the first pieces I wrote here locally in the Times-Union about this not being an isolated incident. A few years ago, 2022, the similar thing happened to Daniel Taylor. In that case, it was 10 officers who were involved. His death was ruled a homicide, but no charges were filed. And so this just can't keep happening. And so I'm here mainly because I want to see something change. One life lost unnecessarily is one life too many.
Absolutely. And the Jacksonville Community Action Committee is not just because of this one case, right?
Correct. So the Jacksonville Community Action Committee, we've been around for many, many years at this point, but the whole focus is trying to have some sort of accountability when it comes to law enforcement. We have many cases where there's families experiencing mental health crises, where their loved ones are taken from them. So many other instances of police brutality. We think about the McNeil the William McNeil video earlier this year, and so we really are there to help support the families. We have different events just to bring them together and support them at town halls. So we support the families, but also we're continuing to advocate at City Hall because we believe that there are things that we can do when it comes to improving the conditions, making sure our law enforcement is accountable to us, and so no one feels afraid of police officers.
We're speaking with Jalicia Lewis. She is with Jacksonville Community Action Committee, and I know that there are people who are hearing what we're saying and they're saying, you know what, you're standing up for the bad guys, and that is not the case because you vet these cases. You're not just saying every case the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is investigating is something in which brutality happens. These are specific cases that you have vetted.
Correct. Yeah, we're looking at, it's very clear and apparent when there is some sort of wrongdoing. I think just because the families, his mother, are very clear about being left in the dark and not receiving a call from JSO. And so when things like that are happening, when there's a sense of disconnect or there's this blatant disregard of due process or this sense of law enforcement being able to be above the law, that's where we step in because we have, as a society, we have to have those guardrails in place, and that's kind of what we're here for.
And his girlfriend, who was pregnant at the time, I believe, had called on him after getting into a physical argument, and she has since been one of those people who has been supportive of this effort.
Yes, and it was a misdemeanor charge as well, yes. But she's been out and spoken in support, and last thing I remember, she's saying that he just didn't deserve this.
Why were so many officers involved? Misdemeanor charge, why were so many officers involved?
That's a great question. It's hard to really know because there's so much that has been redacted. They claim that he was being combative. Yet again, I don't think, again, you're one person, you're in handcuffs. I don't think it takes more than 3 or 4 officers to, and that's something that other experts in the field have said, that once you secure their hands, their feet, and their head, there should be good. And so the fact that he was stabilized and they took him into the room and then took him back out into the restraint chair, again, there's no good reason for that. And so we'll have to, hopefully the family can get those records and get some video footage and we can really understand what happened.
So tell us about the rally that's taking place.
Yeah, so tonight, again, this is the 1 year sort of anniversary of when he was arrested. And so we're going to be at the JSO headquarters on Bay Street tonight, starting at 6 o'clock. It's going to be a rally, starting as a rally to kind of demand justice, and then it's going to sort of turn into a vigil where we're going to have candles and we're going to have a moment of silence. As someone who's lost family members recently, the hole that one person leaves when they are taken from this planet is big, and I think it's still not filled. So we want to make sure that Charles, wherever he is, he knows that he's not alone and that we still are thinking about him.
For those who would like information on how to participate, where can they go?
Yeah, so you can keep up with the Jacksonville Community Action Committee on Facebook and Instagram under Jax Takes Action, or the Jacksonville Community Action Committee. And we have links there where if you want to DM us and get involved, we have meetings every month, and we're always looking for people to get involved in any way, shape, or form.
JaxTakesAction.org. It is the Jacksonville Community Action Committee. Jalicia Lewis, thank you so much for joining us on the day of the rally. We'll have more information posted online a little bit later this morning. WOKV